can you conceal carry at a polling place on election day? That's what we're going to talk about today as I walk you through some of the states that will allow this and some of the states that shockingly forbid it altogether. Now, of course, at the end, I want to tell you something that gun owners should avoid altogether at polling places on election day. Everybody should avoid this, especially gun owners though. So we're going to talk about that. And of course, I want to hear your opinion because not only do I want to hear your opinion about my opinions here, or should you carry it all at a polling place, but also I want to hear some guesses because there's two states that surprisingly explicitly allow firearms at polling places. Which states do you think those are? Either both states or one of the two states. Leave those guesses down below before we start the video because I can almost promise you that not many people would guess these two states. Kind of wild. We're going to talk about that. If you like what I do, consider subscribing. Let's go and get into it. Now let's talk about some of those states that will allow you to carry on election day. You have places like Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Nevada, North and South Dakota, Wyoming, and even places like Oregon. Now there's some pretty big names. You're probably saying, oh wow, yeah, what about Texas? Well, Texas is one of those states where guns are not allowed at polling places. Along with, surprisingly, well, not too surprisingly, honestly, South Carolina, which is the state I live in, Florida, Louisiana, and then there's others, right? Like California and New York that you would expect. But those are some pretty big names of places where you're not allowed to conceal carry at a polling place. But you may be asking, why would you want to carry at a polling place? Well, just like every reason that firearm owners want to carry anywhere we go is to protect ourselves. And unfortunately, political arguments, I'll just put it like that, have gotten to the point where it's not just, oh, you see things different than I do, but we can all get along. The way it should be, it's I literally hate you because of the way that you feel and the direction we're going. That's how a lot of people feel, and unfortunately you see arguments break out. Now, of course, you're not supposed to be wearing any kind of political affiliation when you go to the polls. Not everybody adheres to that. They say, I'm going to wear whatever I want, and you will see that spark a lot of arguments. We've even seen it in early voting this year. The polarization around politics has really sparked this entire debate, right? So of course it amplifies everything that you're going to maybe experience at a polling place, especially in some of your battleground states. By the way, a lot of those battleground states you can carry at a polling place. Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, I believe. They made some interesting changes in New Mexico. So, for instance, you can't open carry within 100 feet of a polling place. You can't open carry within 50 feet of a ballot box, but that does not apply to concealed carriers. I know that the legislature in Virginia actually passed gun-free zones around polling places until Glenn Youngkin, the governor, actually struck it down. But here's the other thing. Just because your state doesn't explicitly deny your rights to carry at a polling place doesn't mean you can carry in that polling place, right? We know schools are a very popular place to cast your vote. Well, there's some states that allow you with a concealed carry permit to actually carry inside of a school. There's other states where you have to have that permit and get permission from somebody in charge of the school. There's other places, like Tennessee, for instance, where you have to have a permit, you have to get permission, and then you have to go through training courses to be able to carry a firearm in the school. And I know that applies for teachers primarily, but regardless, that's kind of some of the rules around schools and firearms. They're not all explicitly banned like a lot of people think, but some states make you go through additional training or having a permit or even getting some kind of permission from somebody in charge of the school in order to actually carry in that school. And then it could come down to your specific district, right? There may be no explicit language that denies firearms at polling places. You may be a concealed carry weapons holder. Whatever, you may have gotten permission. Maybe you're a teacher, you got permission, you took the training, all of that. So you should be able to carry your firearm at a polling place. Or you're a concealed weapons permit holder and they allow you to carry. Well, maybe in your district, they don't allow you. Again, it kind of always comes down to you have to check your specific states. But there are 2 states that explicitly allow firearms at polling places. Now you have to have a permit to carry a firearm at these places, but still, Colorado and Illinois. Definitely not the 2 states I would initially think of that explicitly allow you to carry a firearm at a polling place with a permit. So it really just depends on your state, your district, what the rules are. But here's one thing that we should all kind of follow, and that is avoiding any kind of negative interaction, especially one where you are actually the aggressor, where you started the argument. That's not the side you want to be on in case you ever had to pull your gun in self-defense. You don't want to be the aggressor. To claim self-defense, it's almost never going to work if you're the one that started the argument. So if somebody's trash talking your candidate in front of you, I know it's really easy. It's kind of like road rage. It's like really easy to just, speak your mind and whatever. It is for a lot of people. But just a split-second decision like that could change your entire outcome, because if that person then gets mad enough and approaches you and you take that as a threat, well, guess what? You were the aggressor. And everybody around you has a cell phone. You are always recorded, and that is something we all have to remember, right? It's really hard to make a mistake and then not be recorded these days. I pretty much always go by the fact that, you're always recorded anywhere you go. So you really always want to be on the right side of things in a self-defense situation. So as much as it may hurt your pride, sometimes you got to suck that up and just say, hey, they're talking about him, whatever. We're talking about her or whatever. And as much as that pisses me off, I'm just going to let it slide. Sometimes that's what you have to do, man. I know it's tough. I totally get it. But that is something that all firearm owners and everybody should really avoid, especially at these polling places. So, time to cast your vote, man. That is one of the greatest opportunities that we have. If you want to see real change in this country, we have the power to do that. And it's something I hope that all gun owners, everybody a part of my communities, both of my communities, Headshot Nation, Headshot Rides, Headshot 87, I hope you all get out there and let's make our opinions and voices known today. Let me know if you were able to guess one of the 2 states right, or maybe you guessed them both correctly, and any other opinions you may have about this video and carrying to a polling place. Big thanks to you guys. See you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.